Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Martin. Let's talk about books. The first one I am sharing today is called Not If I Save You First by Allie Carter, and it's in the adventure section. Imagine that you are the child of the President of the United States, or maybe that you're the child of one of the Secret Service agents that is meant to guard him. Logan's dad was the president, and Maddie's dad was the Secret Service agent firsthand, meant to protect. And unfortunately, something went down. There was a kidnapping attempt when Maddie and Logan were young. And they were only kids. And when this kidnapping attempt went awry, Maddie and her dad were sent off to live in Alaska for safety. Well, Maddie and Logan, as children, had been basically inseparable. They'd been really good friends, always spent so much time together, played together, been best friends. And now, with Maddie and her dad living in Alaska, and Logan and his dad, of course, staying right there in Washington, D.C., the two kids basically lose contact. She sends him letters, she sends him emails. I can't remember if in this story, if they are texting or not, but at any rate, she hears nothing from him. And eventually, over time, they just lose touch. Well, now it's a few years later, and Maddie is a teenager. She is used to living on her own with her dad. They live in a really remote area of Alaska where there's basically no one around, and it's quiet until Logan is sent to live with them. Well, the fact that Logan has not, responded to any of her communication has kind of ticked Maddie off, and she has no interest really in trying to connect with him at this point until where all of them are staying is attacked once again. It seems as though some people are after them for some reason, and all of that comes out in the story, in the adventure. Logan is taken. Maddie is going to have to do something to help to save him. The book is not If I Save You First. It is not without humor, that's for sure. And if you love a fast-paced adventure story, take a look at this one by Allie Carter. Far from the Tree by Robin Benway is in realistic fiction and really gets at that question of what family is all about. Our main character is the middle child in the family, but she didn't even know she was a middle child, actually, because she has been living in an adopted family, basically since birth. So Grace discovers that she's a middle child quite a ways into her life. She's in high school, in fact, becomes pregnant, puts her own baby up for adoption, and then decides at that point she wants to look to find her own biological family. She'd like to discover, where did I come from, by blood? She loves her adopted family, but she wants to know more about who her parents were and, the fact that she learns she has siblings out there, an older sibling and a younger sibling, and that she's the middle child. She goes to look for these biological family members, learns about Maya, her younger sister, who has a lot to say about the fact that they've got these family connections. And Maya, turns out, has this adopted family as well that is having a lot of problems that have been kind of shoved to the side. They've tried to act like they're not problems, and now they're bubbling to the surface, as often happens if we try to shove problems down. And Maya can't help but wonder where exactly she belongs. She's not sure that she fits in with her adopted family the way that she thought she did. Grace and Maya also get to know their older brother, Joaquin. And Joaquin has no interest in getting to know his sisters. He has been on his own, bouncing from one foster care system place to another, and really has learned to fight for himself, be on his own, rely on himself. And he feels like, I don't need anyone. I don't need family. I don't need people that I have to count on. I'm good. Just me. So thanks, but no thanks. This story, though, gets at, as I said, the question of, what does it mean to be a family anyway? And what if you don't feel like you belong anywhere? And I don't know, what if, like Joaquin, you think that you can rely just on yourself, and it turns out that maybe that's not the best way to go. I loved this book, Far from the Tree by Robin Benway, realistic fiction. Take a look. For something totally different, Zombie Baseball Beatdown, we're going to let the author tell you a little bit about this story. It's got some humor, it's got some mystery, it has some deeper environmental issues built in, and as you can see, it's got the fantasy element because of the zombies. We've got an apocalypse going on, right? It's the end of the world type situation. We've got a couple of kids playing baseball near their town's local meatpacking plant, and they nearly get knocked out by this awful, awful smell. Right? They're playing baseball, and they are catching whiffs of this terrible stink, and they have no idea that the meatpacking plant nearby is turning cows into flesh-craving monsters, turning these cows into zombies. Well, there's a lot more to it than that. Let's hear from the author to tell us a little more.
Hi, my name is Paolo Bacigalupi, and I'm about to tell you all about my new novel, Zombie Baseball Beatdown. Zombie Baseball Beatdown is basically all about these three kids who need to fight off the zombie hordes and save their small town from the zombie apocalypse. You know, they're kind of outmatched. The reason why I was thinking about zombies and baseballs going together was honestly baseball bats. I wanted to make sure that there was a lot of splatter in it. Die, zombie! Die! Die! The other thing about baseball is that it's really sort of the American sport. I'm really interested in what it means to be an American and how we define that. I think it's important to sort of know where the things that we prosper from come from. And I'm really interested in where our food comes from. When you're thinking about where a zombie apocalypse is going to come from, you know, the local meatpacking plant makes a perfect setting. Brains.
Oh, so much fun. It's a great book. It's kind of a thick read, but it's because it's got so much packed into it. Try this one out. It's a fun read. Zombie Baseball Beatdown. Take a look in fantasy under B.
Hi, my name is Paolo Bacigalupi.
Cyclone by Doreen Cronin is in realistic fiction. And I don't know about you, but when summertime comes around, I get to that point where I think about all kinds of summertime things. Beaches, parks, picnics, and amusement parks are right up there for me and my family, riding on some of those fantastic rides. And Nora, our main character here, can't wait to ride the Cyclone. It is, in her mind, this highlight of her summer, or is going to be. It's the world famous Coney Island roller coaster, and it is supposed to be absolutely epic. Well, right before Nora and her cousin Riley get on this ride, Nora's cousin falls to the ground and doesn't get up. Nora had begged and begged Riley to get on the ride. And in fact, you know, Riley was really kind of hesitant about it. She agreed to get on. They rode the roller coaster. Nora was so excited that they got to do it. She was so proud of Riley for, you know, conquering her fear. But no matter what the doctors say, you know, they say Riley had this heart condition. They say that it wasn't the ride that did it. They say that the fact that Riley, you know, faints at the end and doesn't get up, that it could have happened at any time. Nora is just positive that it's her fault. Well, Riley ends up in this coma in the hospital after riding this ride. And when Riley comes out of the coma, she's not really Riley at all. This book has all the ups and downs of the best roller coaster that you've been on. And it's really great for readers who like books about real life problems and the relationships that help you get through them. I loved this one too. It's Cyclone. It's by Doreen Cronin in realistic fiction. Zenobia July by Lisa Bunker in mystery is a story about someone starting over. Zenobia is starting a new life. She used to live in Arizona with her dad, and now she has moved to Maine to live with her aunts. She used to spend most of her time behind a computer screen, working on coding and hacking. But now she is really trying to come out of her shell. She is trying to develop this new group of friends at a different middle school. And people used to tell her that she was a boy. But now she's able to live openly as the girl that she always knew she was. So, again, lots of new starts for our character here. And when someone anonymously posts hateful memes on her school's website, Zenobia knows that she is the one with the technology, with the ability to solve the mystery, all while wrestling the challenges of this new start. A new school, a new family, coming to grips with presenting her true gender for the first time. This is the story of Zenobia July and about coming home to who she really is. Check this one out in mystery under Lisa Bunker. You're going to love it. The last book I'm sharing with you today is Peak by Roland Smith. This one has been around for such a long time, but it is a classic and worth sharing over and over again. This is the story of a 14-year-old kid who has gotten himself into trouble big time. He's arrested, in fact. It doesn't happen to 14-year-olds very often, I don't think. But in the book he does because he has been scaling a New York City skyscraper, right? You heard that right. He is actually trying to climb it himself. And when he's caught, he is left with two choices. Either he can go to juvie, go to juvenile detention, or he can go to live with his long-lost father, someone he hasn't really even talked to much at all, who has been living in Thailand running this climbing company. Well, we can see where Peak, our main character, gets his penchant or his real interest in climbing tall things, right? His dad runs this climbing company. It seems like a perfect fit. Great. And of course, he doesn't want to go to juvie. He wants to go and live with his dad. Well, things aren't quite as great with his dad as he thought they might be. Turns out his dad has a mission for Peak, and that is for Peak to actually be the youngest person to reach the top of Mount Everest. And he's got selfish reasons for it. You've got to read the book to find out. You're not going to believe what his dad wants him to do and why he wants him to do it. For a climbing addict like Peak, tackling Mount Everest is still the challenge of a lifetime. But it's one that could cost him his life. This is not something that even the most experienced climbers can do. It is something that has killed many people who have attempted this. It's going to challenge him physically, emotionally. It's going to test every bit of his strength and his maturity. You've got to check out this action-packed book. It is about friendship and sacrifice and family, and just, gosh, taking risks. This is a book you will not be able to put down. Peak by Roland Smith. Find out what happens. Will he attempt to climb Mount Everest? And if he does, will he succeed? I've shared a bunch of books with you today, and I hope that you have lots of other books in mind that you would like to check out in case some of these aren't available to you. Thanks so much for your attention. As always, happy reading.